You know, there's not a lot of the night of my ordination that I remember. Most of it's kind of a blur, but there's this one part that, wow, it just stays with me. It was the part part of the ritual where you lie down flat, face down on the floor, and the rite of ordination then calls for the litany of saints to be prayed over you. So it's just this long list of saints that we ask to intercede. And I remember thinking as I'm lying there on the floor, I'm not sure I'm ready for all of this yet. And then the litany of saints ended, and I'm thinking, wait, aren't there a few more we can pray for yet? Just give me a little more time here, right? 40 years, almost 40 years has passed, but here's the one thing that doesn't change. Doubt and fear, they still sneak back into my life once in a while, like they do right now. Doubt that I'm not up for what God has called me to do as your pastor. Fear that I might fail you and the people of St. Peter as we negotiate this thing of transitioning into one parish. But over those 40 years, I've also come to know doubt and fear not as something to deny or avoid, but as a gift, a window to deepen my faith. Doubt and fear. We treat them as unwelcomed guests into our peace of mind and heart. We curse them, we're shamed by them, we cast them into this big basket of negative feelings, but I'm not sure that that's where they belong, because I am confident that God uses them to bring us into deeper faith. God did the same thing for Elijah the prophet, right? Elijah was sent, as all prophets are, to do God's work, and he did. And it got him into a whole lot of trouble. He was up a creek without a paddle, really, at this point in life. He had a whole cast of very angry people chasing after him to kill him, and he's hiding in the desert in a cave, afraid for his life and beginning to doubt God and God's intentions. Why would God, who sent him to be a prophet, now have him in this situation, in this big mess? But then God reassured him. Not in a big way, not in the fire, not in the wind, not in an earthquake, but in this tiny whispering sound. God reassured him, I am with you. I'm here. And Elijah hid his face and he came out of the cave because he knew that God had not abandoned him. And then there's Peter, spontaneous and presumptuous as he always is, but at Jesus' invitation, he begins to walk across the water in the midst of the storm, the waves still tossing across the boat that he left behind. And then he starts to think, which always seemed to get him into a lot of trouble. And fear sets in as the waves splash against him, and doubt raises its head in the wind, and he begins to sink. And in this window of opportunity, in that moment, Jesus reaches out his hand and says, "Oh, you of little faith," not as condemnation of Peter, but as the window of faith to emerge. Truly, you are the Son of God. Doubt and fear sneaks into our life all the time. You couples who've been married, you stand before God and all the people, and when you're about to share your vows, you can't tell me you don't have a little doubt and fear in your heart right then. 18-year-olds heading off to college for the first time. Our once secure system of democracy that seems ever so fragile. When our aging bodies begin to betray us and reveal the truth of our mortality. When our parish is asked to transition into something it has never been before. When climate changes and economy teeters and loved ones die. When we hit mile 18 of that 26.2-mile marathon. Perhaps at those moments, when doubt and fear are not so much as unwelcomed intruders, but just welcomed guests from which faith, deeper faith, renewed faith can emerge.